Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Loki Season 2 finally arrives this week, bringing us full circle with Marvel's greatest storyline since Avengers Endgame, one driven by perplexing mysteries, dense world building, and a horny clock. I said clock. As we embark upon the Season 2 premiere, we wanted to refresh you with the 10 most important questions to keep in mind as we work our way through this second season. I have spent the past 2 years and change on New Rockstars keeping that candle lit, keeping mentally fit, analyzing every bit of footage that I could, brushing up on the history of 19th century America and narrative time travel fiction, all to make myself ready for when the show came back, and here I am. It's Looktober, or Clocktober. I said Clocktober. Let's do this. Question 1, what is Ms. Minutes? I have a suspicion that Ms. Minutes is gonna be the breakout character of Season 2. I think it's interesting that it is Miss Minutes, M-I-S-S Minutes, not Ms. Minutes. It is a more antiquated Miss Minutes. She is available, friends, no ring on that finger. And I think that's actually pretty important for how we should see this thing. We know from Season 1 that she's not a recording, she's not alive, she's sort of both. And she's not a hologram being projected from any visible light source. She can interact with the physical world. And while she serves the TVA and serves He Who Remains in his agenda, she is okay keeping secrets from Renslayer, which tells us that He Who Remains had 2 female confidants, which could make things interesting. I speculated in a video last August that Miss Minutes is actually made up of temporal radiation stemming from Victor Timely presenting to the World's Fair attendees a new way to derive energy from time. Trailer footage shows a monochrome ghostly form of her terrorizing those World's Fair attendees, so just keep an eye on Miss Minutes this season, how much she knows, how far her powers go, and who she's ultimately most loyal to. All right, question 2, what changed in the TVA to make He Who Remains hide himself and invent the Timekeepers? Because Season 1 ends with Loki in an earlier era of the TVA when He Who Remains did not hide himself from TVA employees and kept statues of himself with his face out in the open. In the Season 2 trailer footage, Loki prunes back a mural wall of the Timekeepers to show that in that previous era, that wall had big He Who Remains faces, and at some time between then and now, he wallpapered over himself. So something must have changed between then and now to make He Who Remains want to erase his employees' minds to compose this new script from the TVA Narrative Commission presented by the animated Ms. Minutes, crediting the Timekeepers and let everyone think it was the Timekeepers running the show. Maybe this is his attempt to hide from Renslayer or hide from his other variants, to use the TVA as a kind of shell company or a front without his enemies associating the organization with him. All right, question 3, what is Renslayer's history and relationship with He Who Remains? Season 1 ended with Renslayer leaving the TVA through a time door in search of free will. We learned that she was once a high school principal in Franklin D. Roosevelt High School in Fremont, Ohio in 2018. In the comics, Princess Ravonna Renslayer was Kang the Conqueror's ill-requited love interest back in Avengers 23 back in 1963, which Season 1 referenced by making Renslayer's old hunter ID A23. Season 2 footage shows her in Victorian-era garb at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair in the vicinity of Victor Timely. I've speculated that she could have been that 4th broken timekeeper statue in the Citadel lobby, that perhaps He Who Remains and Renslayer might have both ruled over the TVA together at some point. All right, question 4, is the TVA on its own timeline axis? This, I think, is going to be an extremely important question as we watch Season 2, because throughout Season 1, we assumed that the TVA was removed from time, in a kind of dimension unaffected by the flow of any other timeline, as in the comics, the TVA exists in the null time zone, and Mobius in Season 1 told Loki that, quote, time works differently in the TVA. But in Season 2, we know from trailer footage that Loki has begun time slipping, the show's term, while he is inside of the TVA. Time slipping is a whole new rule that this new season seems to be establishing. To be clear, Loki is not glitching laterally through different dimensions and universes like Miles Morales is in the Spider-Verse movies. Loki is kind of like skipping forward in time and hopping backward in time, but along the same timeline, a timeline that flows through the TVA, meaning that the TVA must exist along its own axis, its own flow of time, where cause and effect exist and lasting changes can be made to the TVA on that axis, and history can take its own course on that axis. So as we watch through these Season 2 episodes, how exactly that works is going to be a new question that we just really have to keep in mind. All right, question 5, how did the TVA begin? The origins of the TVA seem to be another point of focus for Season 2, because based on trailer footage of the Kang variant Victor Timely, we see shots of him with his temporal marvel at the World's Fair, and a quick glimpse of him inside of the TVA if you look closely at the background. I think Victor Timely must have been part of the origins of the TVA. Like, he's got some original blueprint that they need to fix that temporal loom inside of the core of the TVA. I speculated back in July that Victor Timely and He Who Remains might even be the same variant. All right, question 6. What were the direct consequences of Sylvie breaking the sacred timeline? Yeah, this is gonna be the most immediate question I assume that season 2 is gonna deal with. Remember, after season 1 came out, every MCU title that touched on the multiverse, like What If, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania, and even before it, WandaVision, we totally speculated might have been connected to that moment Sylvie killed He Who Remains, but only season 2 of Loki is actually responsible for giving us real answers to what happened and what was affected by that decision. It seems like that decision is what has led the temporal core getting overloaded like this, what led to Loki's time slipping, and led to Sylvie to start working at a McDonald's in the year 1982. Now, longtime New Rockstars viewers know how much we use Geologie and how long we've been using it for, but if this is your first time hearing about Geologie, get ready for blockbuster quality skincare on a student film budget. Geologie is a 23-time award-winning skin, hair, and body care company recognized in Men's Health, Oprah Daily, Hypebeast, Birdie, Esquire, and GQ. Geologie's products are just a handful of powerful, proven ingredients that have been trusted by dermatologists for decades. Geologie can help you fight acne, reduce oiliness, prevent wrinkles, combat dark or puffy under eyes, have smoother, hydrated skin, and target signs of aging. Everything you need to keep your skin healthy, no matter how much you soak in the pool this summer. Don't know where to start? Geologie can create a simple and effective skincare or hair care routine for you. All you gotta do is take a quick 30-second quiz. Right now, if you use the code NewRockstars100, Geologie will give you 100% off their award-winning skincare trial set. You'll also get an additional bonus offer of up to 30% off one skin, hair, or body products when you add it to your trial. It's truly a wild offer, one of the best they've ever given our audience. So click the link in the description or go to geolog.ie/rockstars100 to get started. All right, question 7. What is He Who Remains' connection to Victor Timely and the other Kang variants? Basically, how are all the members of the Kang dynasty connected, and how much do they know about each other? In the season 1 finale, He Who Remains made it clear that he knows who the other Kangs are, that he is the one who tamed Goliath to prune the others and end the multiversal war. That's why he's the one who remains. But we don't know if they know who he is. Those other Kangs in the Quantumania post-credit scene knew who Kang the Exile was in the Quantum Realm, but He Who Remains' entire existence may be a secret to everyone except Ms. Minutes and Loki and Sylvie. Victor Timely might also be in the blind, a Kang unaware that he is a Kang, because otherwise I don't know why they'd let him inside of the TVA to help them if he knew how powerful and evil he could become. All right, question 8. What happened in the Citadel? Now, I mentioned the broken 4th Timekeeper statue in the Citadel lobby, which was one of the big mysteries left at the end of season 1, but one new detail I discovered in my deep dive of the entire season back in February is that there is actually an entire wing of the Citadel that is caved in and barricaded when they first enter and first talk to Ms. Minutes. Some forbidden section that Loki, Sylvie, or anyone could not access. So really, the Citadel was built, I think, to be shared by multiple rulers. And now that it's just He Who Remains alone, he's kind of like a sad divorced citizen Kang who holes away in one part his man cave of his vast Xanadu. All right, question 9. What happens to the Void now? When we last visited the Void, it seemed like Loki and Sylvie had temporarily defeated or at least stalled Goliath. So it's not really clear if the Void continues to be functional as a junkyard for pruned people and things, if its garbage eater is shut down. There is a quick shot in the season 2 trailer footage of a Victorian dressed Renslayer in the Void, so I assume that we're gonna revisit the Void. My theory has been that the Void will become the future Battle World map for Secret Wars, and based on set photos for Deadpool 3, it looks like Deadpool and Wolverine are gonna fight in some part of the Void where there is a pruned 20th Century Fox logo. All right, finally, question 10. Is the MCU governed by branch timeline theory, or are all of these branches part of a vine that snakes back on itself in a flat circle? This is perhaps the deepest and most existential of all of these questions. Do we have free will or not? Despite all the talk about branch timelines and Nexus events, if He Who Remains is to be believed from the season 1 finale, no. Marvel characters do not have free will, and time is a flat circle. I mean, based on the curvature of the sacred timeline orbiting around the Citadel at the end of time, it does seem like that is a ring. When Kang the Conqueror in Quantumania showed the timeline, it was a ring that snaked back on itself, and the character OB is short for Ouroboros, a snake eating its own tail. He Who Remains dies because he set history in motion in a way that Sylvie would eventually kill him. He put her on that path. Sylvie didn't make that choice according to her own free will. She was destined to do it. The sacred timeline started to splinter her before she even stabbed him. She was destined to do it. The threshold moment I dove into in my deep dive video, that was when it started to happen. He Who Remains scripting everything is also what Iman Vellani confirmed to me for Kamala Khan going back in time when I interviewed her back in July 2022. I think we're gonna see other ways in which nature and the architecture and the causal events inside of the TVA end up getting dictated by upcoming decisions by characters. Things are the way they are because they've always been that way, and you are destined to make decisions that set that past in the stone. So, programming note, here's how you can watch New Rockstars Loki coverage. Throughout October, you will be able to see our in-depth Easter egg breakdowns every Thursday evening. I'm gonna go crazy on the series. It's like I was made for this. It's gonna be right here on the New Rockstars channel. Season 2 premiere breakdown coming this Thursday after the episode drops October 5th. Also, each of our Loki reactions and after shows inside Marvel are gonna be every Thursday evening on the Break Room channel, dropping just before our Easter egg breakdowns come out on the main channel. Inside Marvel is gonna feature me, Tommy Bechtold, Maude Garrett, and maybe some other guests, so be sure to tune in. Also, we're gonna launch a new weekly format here on the main New Rockstars channel every Sunday, Sneak Peeks, a Q&A show in which I will look ahead at the upcoming week of nerdy news. Joining me for the sneak peek in between episodes of Loki is gonna be our good friend Jessica Clemens. Now, we're also gonna be finishing up our Loki Season 1 rewatch, Episode 5, Journey into Mystery, coming this Thursday, midday before the Season 2 premiere drops. Our Season 1 finale re-breakdown will come sometime between Episode 1 and Episode 2 of Season 2. And as always, we're gonna make other Loki videos to answer your big questions as they come up. My goal this season is to be your YouTube companion to help you with what you are most curious about, and to take my cues from where the show seems to be leading us, and to invite you in on the crackpot theory crafting for you to indulge in it if you like, but not hold it against you if you think I'm reaching. Please support all 3 channels in the New Rockstars network, and support us by grabbing some merch over at nerdriot.shop. You can follow me at EA Voss, following New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.